A mayor in Kansas is the latest public official to resign during the pandemic amid growing resistance to COVID restrictions in this country. According to the Associated Press and Kaiser Health News, at least 181 state and local public health leaders in 38 states have resigned, retired, or been fired since April. Now, last month in Dodge City, Kansas, Mayor Joyce Warshaw and 4 commissioners passed a mask mandate. Recently, she was quoted in a USA Today article saying, "We just felt like we had to do something, so everybody was aware of how important it was for everybody else to be responsible for each other's health and well-being." Now, after the threats increased, Warshaw resigned as mayor yesterday morning, effective immediately. She joins me live for this interview. Please welcome Joyce Warshaw. Thank you. I should say ex-mayor Warshaw. Thank you so much for joining me. Let's talk, if I can, a little bit about the threats that you started receiving. When did you start receiving them? How intense did they get? And when did you know it was time to resign?
Actually, I started receiving some threatening type emails and communications starting the first part of November. And then after we passed the mask mandate on November 16th, they became a little bit worse. But the USA Today did an article last week, the end of last week, and that's when they got very threatening, just very threatening, their verbiage.
I think maybe a lot of politicians may be looking at this and say, you know, it's par for the course that you get these types of threats or this type of language. Was there something specific that actually made you feel that your life was in danger? Was there a specific type of threat? Did you share that with law enforcement, or have they taken any measures to address your concerns?
Yes, I sent the emails to the city manager and he turned them over to the chief of police, and they are checking into where they came from, basically, because I didn't recognize the name. They contained verbiage that is, in my eyes, just very inappropriate and very threatening. Words such as, "We're coming for you," "murder," "you'll burn in hell." And I just got to the point where I thought, and my family particularly said, enough's enough. I know they're only words, but who's to say they wouldn't follow up with actions?
And to your point, Dodge City Police, we should note, are saying we are looking into the substance of the communication to determine an appropriate course of action. How hard of a decision was this for you about making a mask mandate? Do you have any reservations or regrets about that decision?
You know, I have no regrets about my vote to support a mask mandate, and simply because I followed the advice of medical professionals in our community and across the nation. I followed science, and everything indicated that if we were going to get numbers down and get control of this pandemic, we had to do what we could do, and that included a mask for everyone. So.
Yeah, let's talk about the reluctance in this country for people to wear a mask, because when the commission voted on that mandate, more than 1 out of every 10 people in the county had the virus. Why do you think, from your place of, your viewpoint, your vantage point, why do you think people are so resistant to wearing masks? Why have people made this such a political issue in this country, you think?
You know, I'm not sure. I am a believer that it has become a political issue when it really is a health issue. It's a science issue, and our country has allowed it to become a political issue. And I think, some of the things that we're seeing nationwide and from some of our top leaders as far as bullying and being aggressive, that, people are thinking it's okay to address things in a very irresponsible, inappropriate fashion.
I know that you say that leaders in this country, but just to be specific for a moment, if I can, you're a Republican mayor, you were a Republican mayor. Do you think that your party, the Republican Party, from its leader on downwards, shares that responsibility, that they are the ones, a lot of the key Republican figures in this country who have not supported mask mandates are the ones creating this political problem?
It's hard for me to say this. And since I have relocated now out of Dodge City, I have changed my affiliation, and I'm non-affiliated now. And simply because the Republican Party isn't the Republican Party that I know. So much of it has turned volatile and so almost mean-spirited and really not taking care of the nation as a whole. I feel it is doing damage to our democracy and to our country.
I know this is extremely personal for you because your daughter contracted COVID and your aunt recently died from the virus. Our condolences for that loss. What's your message to people who don't want to take precautions despite the fact that, as we just said, you've personally been affected by it, 300,000 Americans plus have lost their lives?
My message would be, one death is too many. And if we as a society can look at a society as a whole and not be so selfish as to look at us individually, we need to take care of one another. We need to have compassion for our fellow citizens. And wearing a mask is a very small request in the big picture.
All right, Joyce Warshaw, thank you so much for sharing your time, your story with us, and we hope that you have safety and security that you deserve. Thank you.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.